The NFL is a league full of super athletes, and yet it's generally agreed that the best athletes choose basketball over football when they can. Eagles center Jason Kelsey says there's not a single NFL player that could hang in the NBA, but there's plenty of NBA players that could play football. That makes you wonder what would have happened if LeBron James had chosen football instead of basketball. In addition to being one of the biggest basketball prospects of all time, LeBron was also a spectacular football player. When he was a freshman, his team eventually gave him his debut when they were down bad late in the game. In less than a quarter, he racked up over 100 yards and 2 scores. Even as a freshman, James was 6'6", and descriptions of his football career sound a lot like trying to guard prime Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson. He was a cheat code on jump balls, but he could also take a screen to the house because he was a 6'6" monster going up against high school kids. His junior year, he had 57 catches for 1,160 yards and 16 touchdowns, and an injury he suffered while playing basketball meant that he didn't even get to play in his senior season. James was a big-time football recruit as well as NBA prospect. He was recruited by Ohio State and a slew of other powerhouses, but it soon became clear that he was destined to become King James. Sports Illustrated ran a cover featuring LeBron as a high school junior with the caption, "The Chosen One," and his high school games were being nationally televised, so the chances of him choosing football over basketball were always slim. But part of the reason he was such a great NBA prospect is the same thing that made him such a great football player. He's one of the most freakish athletes in sports history. Listed at 6'8.5" and 250 pounds, LeBron has always stood out on an NBA court. In a league and sport of super athletes, he's always looked like a comic book superhero. An NFL general manager was once reported as saying LeBron could have been the greatest tight end of all time had he chosen football instead of basketball. There's certainly a history of basketball converts succeeding in that kind of role. Antonio Gates didn't play football in college. He only turned to the game when it became clear that he didn't have an NBA career. Gates worked out for NFL teams, was immediately signed by the Chargers, and likely ends up in the Hall of Fame. Gates was one of the best tight ends in NFL history, in part because he was such a great athlete for the position. But he only made that switch because the NBA considered him too marginal of an athlete to succeed in that sport. The guys that can't even make it in our sport are the cream of the crop in yours. LeBron is over 4 inches taller than Gates, and already is heavy without any kind of football training. He also moves considerably better. There's levels to this game, and LeBron is on a whole other level. A 6'8" tight end is hugely unusual in the NFL. But imagine a world where James doesn't even have to switch to tight end. I can think of one precedent for that too. Harold Carmichael was a standout receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 70s, a member of the All-Decade team and somebody who led the league in receiving. Carmichael was 6'8" and 225 pounds, and they did try to move him to tight end earlier in his career before he got the chance to dominate at receiver. Nobody really knows what LeBron would post in workout numbers, but he claimed he once ran a 4.6 one summer just messing around, and there are reports that he was once clocked in the 4.4s in high school. His vertical leap is supposedly 44 inches. These are otherworldly numbers. The dude's a video game creator player. Why would you not keep him at receiver and use his overwhelming size to just annihilate smaller players? Think Megatron Plus. According to Maverick Carter, Jerry Jones once offered LeBron a contract back in 2011 during the NBA lockout, and James thought about it, going so far as to start modifying his training for football. I think James would have gone down as one of the greatest receivers in NFL history had he chosen that path. He's too much of an athlete. But let me pitch you one more what if. What if LeBron played quarterback? As a kid, he could apparently throw both left and right-handed, depending which way he was running at the time. And quarterback is the one position that could make the money a conversation. LeBron has made close to $500 million in salary over 20 years in the NBA. Patrick Mahomes will earn that in half the time in the NFL. Okay, that doesn't count LeBron's shoe deal and the various other endorsements that push his earnings to the moon, but just imagine LeBron as a quarterback. This century, football has leaned into the best athletes playing quarterback. they can affect the game more than at any other position. One of the reasons LeBron has been so special in the NBA is his vision. And if he'd stuck at that position, bringing the vision and that freakish size and athleticism to the table, damn, I wish we got to see it.